Alright, something a little different today. Some of you guys may remember this engine here from that Sears generator that we worked on, and it was unable to fix it, or didn't want to fix it. It wasn't worth fixing, I should say. But the engine was good, and is a serial number of it. Let's see if I can focus in on that. It's 143-7260-32, and then the serial number. That's a Sears number, and that crosses over to an HM080, which makes this an 8 horsepower. So this was a good engine. I mean, this thing didn't blow any smoke, and it's powerful and stuff like that. But when you get a generator, they have these tapered shafts, and that pretty much renders this engine useless unless you find an exact generator that'll fit that. And these tapered shafts come in so many different sizes. The chance that you find the generator fit on there, you know, like pretty null. So what I was going to do is I was just going to cut the shaft off and put a keyway in it, but then that would only leave us with a little stub about 1.25 inches. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to clad weld this. Right now it's a 7/8 shaft, and that alone makes it pretty useless for most operations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clad weld this and bring it up to the 7/8, and then we're going to cut it down to 3/4, which is your standard size for like a mini bike or a go-kart or something. And that way you'll be able to put a standard clutch on there. This is a 3/4 inch clutch. So with that, being able to put that on there, then it makes this engine viable, and you could pretty much put it on anything. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tear this down, take the crankshaft out of it, and cut it down. But for starters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it outside and blow it off, get some of the chipmunk food off it, and then we'll degrease it. We'll hit it with some gunk and then hose it down, and then bring it back in and we'll tear it down. I already drained the oil out of it, so it should be interesting. And hopefully, I'm pretty sure that crankshaft will fit on our little baby lathe over there. That thing, that's done a lot of work for us, so that's the plan. So let's take that thing outside and clean it up. Alright, here there wasn't much left in this can, but this is sitting on a shelf for a long time, so I might as well get rid of it. But there was enough in there to soak this thing down pretty good. It's about 95 degrees out here, so the sun just went behind a cloud, but I'm going to let this sit out here in the sun and cook for about maybe 15 minutes or a half hour, and then we'll hit it with some water. No need to pressure wash this. We're just trying to get some of the grease off of there. If we keep it, you know, it makes it clean, and if nothing else, it'll make it easier to sell if it don't have all that oil on it. Alright, we got it back inside here, and it's pretty cleaned up. So what we're going to do first is I'll take this shroud off, because we've got to take the flywheel off. So since I got to take this one bolt off down here, I might as well just take the intake manifold off, get this big thing out of the way. It's only 2 screws, so I'm going to take that off, and then we'll go from there. Alright, I moved these around here, maybe have a little more light now. Let's try and take the flywheel off. Alright, let me get put that nut on there. Or there's probably even a little tool you put on there. Let me see. Alright, yeah, I'm not a big fan of taking a flywheel off this way, but it's only me right now. You know, I'd rather have somebody hold the flywheel on it and hit that with a hammer, but I'm going to put some pressure behind it here. And there's actually a tool, this thing here, instead of putting a nut on there. So let's see what happens. And this engine here is pretty much flopping around, so let's hope for the best. Alright, there we go. Yeah, like I say, I'm not a big fan of taking the flywheels off that way, but especially when you stick the the pry bar under there, you don't know what you're going to be pushing up against. But this is pretty much hollow, so all I really could have pushed up against was the side there. All right. I don't know if we're gonna have to take any of this off. I'll have to look it over, but I don't think so. All right. Don't lose your flywheel key here. It's in there pretty good. Look at that. Must be a magnetic screwdriver, huh? There we go. Didn't know that. Alright, don't lose that. I'm going to spin this engine around. I don't think I'm going to have to take any of this off. I don't want to move any of this because that's all timed right now, everything like that. So, let me flip this thing around. Alright. Looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like I have 7 bolts holding this side cover on. But this is the governor linkage, and I think if I unhook it from here, I won't have to readjust it. Let me see. Alright. It's just about off. I don't know what's holding it there. Alright, oh, that's what's holding it. Alright, let me get that linkage off and then we'll take these bolts out. Alright, ran into a little problem here. I loosened all these other bolts up, but this one here is tight and it don't want to come out. That's what sometimes that happens when you get steel going into aluminum with a little corrosion. So let me back these off and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that and hope it works. It might not work. I was able to get a little movement out of it. Not much, but you know, I might be just twisting the top off now, I don't know. And then you tighten it back up, you take a little more. I don't know if you can see the socket moving there, but like I said, I don't know if I'm just twisting the head off, because that's not a very big bolt. So what I might do now is try a little heat this up. Maybe some expanding and contraction out of aluminum might help a little bit, because I can't really get any penetrant back there yet. So let me throw some heat on that. Oh, I gotta move this. This is plastic. Any plastic stuff around, you want to get it out of the way, or else you're just gonna melt it. Like I say, I already drained this, so. Alright, let me heat this up and see if that helps any. Alright, I heated it up and I got a little more movement out of it, but it feels more like I'm going to snap the head on that thing. I wanted to save the gasket on this, but I guess I'll probably burn it up trying to get that out. It almost feels like I'm twisting the head. Oh yeah, I can tell right now. The head's twisting off. See? Yeah, we didn't want to do that, but we did everything we could. I guess I'll have to drill it out now. Oh well. We did the best we could, folks. Well, here's that bolt compared to the rest of them, so it looks like it's still about a ½ inch left in there. One good thing is it's soft metal and it shouldn't be too tough to drill out, but you know, you hate to have to do that. Alright, let's get back to I got all the bolts out of the side. Let's pop the cover off. Alright, I wanted to try and save that gasket, but I think when we put the torch to it, that shit might have sailed, so. Sometimes around these faces here you get little tits sticking up where you can put a screwdriver behind it. And let's see if we can break it loose a little bit. Yeah, it's a tough one here. Sounds like it's a little hollow. Let me go around the other side. Alright, yeah, this bitch is fighting me the whole way. Finally got it to move a little bit. There we go. I don't think we're going to save the... Now I gotta take this off. Here we go. I don't think we're going to save that gasket. Yeah, now the gasket's all glued up. So, alright. Let me turn these off and get a better look at this, see what I'm dealing with. Alright, this is what I was looking for. I'm not familiar with these bigger, newer engines. You know, I'm used to working on that 60 to 100-year-old stuff, but they're all basically the same. And this is what I want to make sure there was. If you see right here next to this little hole, there's a little mark there. And then if you look on the crankshaft here, there's a little arrow there. Well, when you spin these and you put them back in, they have to meet up right here. And that's how you know your engine's going to be timed right. There you go. So, wow. See, I never seen a cam like this with all this fancy stuff on the bottom. I'm used to the older stuff. And the tappets, looks like the tappets are two different sizes. Maybe not, maybe not. I'm going to mark them anyway. And they look the same. Okay, so that's that side and that's this side. Alright, so I'm going to turn this. I don't know if I can turn it with one hand. I'm going to get my finger stuck in there. But I'm going to turn it to the bottom, take these bolts out, and then the crank should come right out. Alright, I marked these tappets, intake and exhaust. They look identical, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to put them back in the same way they came out. Most of the time the tappets are the same anyway on most engines. But I turned the crank around and you can get to these bolts now. I'll unbolt them and then we'll see if that crank will slide right out. And then you also get your slinger here. Make sure you don't lose that. Alright, it should slip right out now. Before I took it out, I put a little, I punched a little mark in here. And then one on I got the connecting rod pushed all the way up out of the way. But I also put a mark on that, so I met them up. Usually these things have marks, so you put them back on the same way. And I guess it might sort of, because it has like a little tail right here. You know, and guys that work on Tecumsehs probably know that all the time, but I don't. And this one don't. And they're also, I don't know if you can see it, it's like ridged up here. That's from the marks of the, where you at, over here. Yeah, it's like a built-in washer there. So that there tells me that's the top, and then this one's smooth because this had the slinger in there, and the slinger took all the marks. So it doesn't hurt to mark stuff, you know, just to help you out a little bit. Let's see if this comes out now. Oh yeah, there we go. All right. Had some marks on the shaft there, and I said, oh no, but it was just oil. It's just oil where the bearing goes. Alright. Oh, sorry about that. I forgot how high up you guys were. Huh. Still got somebody marked there. I wonder if I bet somebody changed the shaft at one time, because I just wiped it off, but it was like paint. Junk, no, it was like a stamp. Yeah, who knows? But anyway, all the machine surfaces look good on this. This looks bugged up here a little bit. This is where the flywheel was. So the flywheel's been up before, probably for a tune-up. All right, so I got my work cut out. I got to order a gasket here, and then we'll try and drill that out and retap it if we have to. Alright, enough for now. Maybe I'll take a ride over to Little Dirt Bikes, let him weld this up. He's pretty good with a MIG. A lot better than me. Alright, enough of this.